The courtroom was a place where stories often collided, where the messy threads of human lives were pulled straight by the firm hand of justice. On this particular morning, the air inside the chamber felt heavy with the humidity of Florida and the lingering tensions of a long-standing feud. Kevin, the bailiff, stood with a practiced posture of professional indifference, though his eyes remained sharp. He looked at the two young women standing behind their respective podiums. On one side stood Haley Chapman, a young woman whose face carried the weight of responsibilities far beyond her 20 years. On the other side was Fallon Bigelow, who appeared equally resolute, her gaze fixed toward the bench where the Honorable Judge Judy Justice would soon appear. "Order," Kevin announced, his voice echoing against the high ceilings and the polished wood. "All rise." The movement was simultaneous as everyone in the room stood. Judge Judy entered with a brisk, no-nonsense pace that had become her trademark. She did not look at the parties immediately. Instead, she focused on the files before her, the paper trail of a conflict that had spanned years and involved multiple children, an incarcerated husband, and the modern battlefield of social media. "Have a seat, please," the judge commanded as she settled into her chair. "Hello, Judge," the voices replied in a ragged unison. "Case number 3022, Chapman versus Bigelow," Kevin announced, providing the formal framework for the drama that was about to unfold. "Thank you, Kevin. You are welcome." The judge looked at Haley Chapman first. Her eyes narrowed as she scanned the complaint. "The husband is not here?" she asked, her tone already searching for the missing piece of the puzzle. "No," Haley replied softly. "Where is he?" "He is currently incarcerated, Your Honor," Haley explained. The word seemed to hang in the air, a stark reminder of the instability underlying the case. "Where?" "In a state correctional institution in Florida." The judge leaned forward, her interest piqued by the timeline. "When did he go into jail?" "He was arrested in September of 2022, Haley answered. "Has he been incarcerated since?" "Yes, ma'am." The judge turned a page in the file. "You have 3 children with him?" "Yes, Your Honor." "How old are you?" "I am 20 years old," Haley said. The judge paused, the number clearly registering as a point of concern. 20? "Yes, ma'am." "How old are your children?" The judge's voice was softer now, though no less demanding. Haley took a breath, listing the ages of the lives she was responsible for. "I actually have 4 in total. I have a 5-year-old who turns 6 in December. I have a 3-year-old who turns 4 in August, a 2-year-old who turns 3 in August, and a newborn who is only 2 weeks old, ma'am." The room was silent for a moment as the math of Haley's life settled into the minds of those listening. A 20-year-old mother of 4 with a husband behind bars. It was a narrative of early struggle and immense pressure. "Who do you live with?" the judge asked. "I live by myself," Haley responded. The judge then turned her attention to Fallon Bigelow. The connection between these two women was a single, shared link. "The only connection that you have with the plaintiff is that you have 1 child with her husband." "Yes, ma'am?" "Yes, ma'am," Fallon confirmed. "Who is how old?" "He is about to be 5 in the end of July," Fallon said. The judge looked back at the legal documents. "Now, this is your complaint," she said, addressing Haley. "Many of these things at least start in 2022, and it is your claim that Ms. Bigelow, who has 1 child with your husband, embarked on a course of conduct that can clearly be described as harassment and defamation. You are going to present this to me. The allegations were serious enough, and this was back in 2022. I would assume that you filed an application for a protective order." "It was in 2021 that I had filed a protective order," Haley corrected. "What month?" "It was, I believe, March." "Did you have a trial on that protective order?" "There was no trial," Haley said. "There was enough evidence presented." No. The judge interrupted, clarifying the legal procedure. "There was no trial." "No, ma'am," Fallon interjected from the other side. The judge looked at Fallon. "Were you present when the protective order was granted and you consented to it?" "Yes," Fallon replied. "Okay," the judge said, summarizing the situation. "So you consented to the plaintiff having a protective order indicating that for 12 months, and hopefully for the rest of your life, You would not assault, menace, threaten, or harass her. Yes, ma'am. Correct? Yes, ma'am, Fallon said. And according to what I have read, the judge continued, that was in effect until March of 2022. Yes, ma'am. While the protective order was in effect, there was a violation of that protective order. Correct, Your Honor? Correct, Your Honor, Haley said. What month? It was in the month of March, March 15th, of 2022 or 2021. 2021, Your Honor, Haley clarified. Was there a hearing on the violation of the protective order? Yes, there was, Haley said, and I believe at that time probation temporarily was given to Ms. Bigelow. Is that correct, Ms. Bigelow? The judge asked. Yes, ma'am, Fallon answered. Administrative probation. The judge leaned back, surveying the two women. And all the events that are the subject of your petition happened between 2021 and 2022. This has actually been going on far longer than that. Haley began, her voice rising with the frustration of years of conflict. The judge cut to the heart of the legal matter. Have any of the acts that Ms. Bigelow was prevented from doing as a result of protective order occurred after protective order expired in March of 2022? Yes, ma'am, Haley said with conviction. I can provide evidence. That is what I want to see, the judge said. So now we have Ms. Bigelow, who is on notice. She consented to a protective order because she knew that the evidence would be clear that you were entitled to it. Otherwise, nobody consents to it. So she consented to that order, which means you either assaulted, menaced, threatened, or harassed her. I assume it was a course of harassment. Then you violated that order, and you got a period of probation. Okay, now I am hearing evidence of acts that occurred after protective order. I am just hearing it. After the protective order expired in March of 2022. Correct? Yes, Haley said. You want to tell me when the first incident was? Haley began to recount a digital world of friction. The first incident was when we had me and my husband on TikTok. There's an algorithm that shows random videos, and she popped up on his For You page. It was a post about her mother, and so she was living with her mother at the time, and he sent it to her mother. Your husband did? The judge asked. Yes. I only want to know things that had to do with you, the judge reminded her, keeping the focus on the legal claims at hand. Okay, Haley pivoted. So I was arrested after my husband got arrested. They tried to charge me. Just a second. The judge interrupted. You were arrested in what month? It was in October, ma'am. Of what year? 2022. You were arrested for what? They tried to claim that I was trafficking drugs, Haley said, her voice small. That is what your husband is in jail for? Yes, ma'am. Okay, the judge said, searching for relevance.